If you have never heard Marcus speak, my God. Marcus Y. Rosier.
I do not believe that multiple businesses streams of income is a tool to get rich. Paying for confidence is a bill you can't ever pay. Everything happened for a reason. Well, sometimes we the reason. It did or didn't happen.
How does his brain even think he's such an amazing speaker?
So we are all speakers. The only thing is, what is the audience we're speaking to? I would say to anyone who wants to improve, and what I think is the most essential skill anybody could have with communication, most people don't have enough.
And this means freedom, self-awareness, expression. And this to me means you can be more than one thing. I'm Jasmine Bowdry, and you're listening to And This Podcast. Welcome to another episode of And This. I am your host, Jasmine Bowdry, and I am so excited for our guest today. Speaker, coach, consultant, friend, going into new opportunities. I mean, he literally embodies all of what And This is about. So I am so excited to introduce and welcome our guest, Marcus Y. Rosier. Hi, Marcus.
Hello, Miss Jasmine.
Welcome to And This. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm happy to be invited.
You're like one of my favorite people, and I'm just honored that you're even here.
Well, listen, keep it coming. Keep
blessed
it coming.
us with your presence.
Keep it
you
coming.
have blessed us. No, thank you so much. How are you?
I am phenomenal. Not just saying it, man. Honored to be here. I'm honored also that I get a chance to see you in your element. That you should. This is long overdue. You are not a behind the scenes person, no matter what you convince yourself of.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I like behind the scenes.
Too late. Too late. Gig is up. You'll star.
No, but thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I have so many things I want to talk to you about today.
Let's do it.
So many things. But the first is speaker, leader, pastor, husband, father. Like, you have embraced so many things, challenging past. At what point did you realize that you could embrace being more than one thing?
I don't think I embraced it. I think it was a tension I struggled with. It's a tug of war. Because rooted in embracing you can be more than one thing is getting rid of people pleasing. I didn't realize I battled with that until over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've focused more on becoming more emotionally strong and emotionally healthy. So I tell people the highest form of self-care is self-honesty. So I realized self-care ain't getting your nails done. That's what you do to your body. Self-care is it's not massages. That's what you do to your body. It's what you do for your soul. And I didn't realize that I would filter what I actually wanted, what I actually desired, and I wasn't emotionally honest with myself about what I want without an excuse or apology.
But how did you come to that? What was that journey like for you coming to this realization that, okay, I've been somewhat of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm not really being honest with myself. What was the steps to that?
My relationship
revelation?
With God, man, my relationship with God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. It's the most powerful thing I've ever experienced because it's information I wouldn't know about me. Don't nobody know you like the one that created you, right? Ooh. So there's these moments that I have, even on Wednesdays or throughout the days, I do this emotional login where I take a word. How do I feel? And this one word is associated with that. How do I want to feel? And then there's a number. 0 to 10 can't be 5, right? So when I'm walking through that, I'm looking and see a trend why every day do I feel unfulfilled? Do I feel aggravated? Do I feel, you start, you know what I'm saying?
Checking in with yourself.
Yeah, you start navigating that and then you can make an excuse for it. But to people, let's say, if you're a speaker, you can come up with well-crafted, eloquent excuses. But with yourself, you can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's you start feeling this tension of dang, you almost feel ungrateful. How can you be this blessed but feel this unfulfilled? Dang, I feel ungrateful, man. Anybody else would be happy to trade places. But it don't matter. It's there's a biblical character, Abraham, in the Bible. And Abraham, I think is in verse 15. God is talking to Abraham and says that I'll bless you and make you a blessing. I'll do this, I'll do that. Abraham, chapter 15 says, what good are all these things you promised me, seeing that I go childless? And Eliezer of Damascus will inherit all I have. Abraham saying, I don't want all that. The thing I want as a child, but you keep telling me I can have everything else. It's that. I reached a place where it's I don't want the things I can post on social media and people say, boy, that boy killing it.
Yeah.
While I don't have the things that in my soul I want. Yeah,
Oof.
so it's that epiphany.
Look at the growth.
Emotional health, man.
And do you think that it's hard for Black men to come to this level of emotional just well-being and healthiness? I feel like it might be. I know, for myself, like emotional intelligence, emotional availability, like these are all different things. And so do you feel like for a man, it's a little bit harder since typically, men aren't known to tap into emotions like women?
My belief is it's hard for people. Here's why. If you ask people who they are, they'll normally tell you what they do.
What they do.
Right?
Exactly.
If they're not proud of what they do, they'll tell you who they know. If they don't have a large network, they'll tell you what they have. Mm-hmm. All three defers you away from who you are. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think that emotional health is when you tap into yourself and your internal voice becomes so loud that you don't need opinions of people to decide what you want. So I'll give you an example. This just happened to me. And you're going to get the most honest, transparent, because this is where I'm at right now, right?
That's what we like.
Spiritual honesty, emotional honesty.
Absolutely.
I was about to buy a house. I won't say the number of what it costs, right? I won't say the number of what it costs. And I'm about to buy it, and I checked in with myself. And I had to ask, do you want this because you're picturing how people will see it when they pull up to it? Or do you actually want this? I settled on a little of both. In my head, while making a purchase that big, multi-million-dollar home, you're picturing people who are going to visit occasionally. That's toxic.
Yeah.
You're going to pay this huge mortgage for somebody to walk up and say, boy.
Wow, look at what he's doing.
It took me back to 17, 18-year-old me in Panama City at Club La Vila wearing Coogee, which I thought was the ugliest clothes ever made. Ed Hardy, which I thought with skulls all over it. Platinum FUBU with Fat Albert on it. $100 t-shirts for somebody to say, boy, Money Mark sharp. I'm like, nah.
Money Mark.
Nah. You know what I'm saying? Like you put all that emphasis into something that you got to downplay and pretend you didn't do it. You didn't pay for people to celebrate you in that way. That full circle moment said, you got to unplug yourself from whatever is fueling you to make a decision that's not rooted in what you want, but rooted in how you celebrate it. Because paying for confidence is a bill you can't ever pay.
Oh, that's
you can't.
That is
you ain't never going to be able to pay that.
Hold on, back it up. Painful confidence is a bill you can never pay.
Nah. It's never ending. Settled into, and then I called a person that I rely on. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about this house versus this house, this, and this. He gave me great advice. He said, it's you, your wife, and your daughter. Mm-hmm. He said, your daughter sleeping in her own room yet? I was like, nah, not yet. He said, so you're going to buy a 8-bedroom house and all 3 people that live in the house in one room.
Make it plain.
He's like, bruh. And I don't even like guests like that. And
you don't really like people. Like you absolutely don't like people.
I'm like, hey, I'll meet you down the street. You know what I mean? Like, so to that point, I think people in general struggle with that because sometimes we put our money in the same place we put our confidence. We put our business and all that in one pot. So this honesty I'm sharing, I'm not talking at someone. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
That's the epiphany I discovered. I'm like, how can I be this far along and still be driven by that insecure guy that made decisions based on compliments he needed to try to build confidence? And I'm now grown man about to buy a house that costs this much just for the small second that somebody can say, man, that Rosier got a crib, bro.
So question, going back to kind of like the rooted in insecurity. Yeah. And again, I know this is you personally, but you're here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, lots of entrepreneurs, lots of successful entrepreneurs. Do you think that a lot of what we see in terms of, let me show you my cars, let me show you my jewelry, let me show you my clothes, like all of these things, you know, lifestyle marketing. Do you think that some of that is rooted in a little bit of insecurity?
I want to be careful with my words, but in a very certain answer, yes. Do I think, do I think everyone? No. I do not think it's absolute. I do not think it's one size fit all.
Yeah.
I think it's nuanced. I think that there are certain things and certain people that are like the insecure, immature young man who, let's just say, was not celebrated, didn't play sports, was not the most popular person, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't the most popular person. you don't remove that trauma or the uncertainty that you felt growing up by a certain dollar amount. It's not like insecure 7 figures. Whoo, I'm good now.
Yep.
Right? It's not a reset button that happens internally. Why? Because your internal scoreboard doesn't change by you getting an external scoreboard of 7 figures, 800 credit score, 100,000 followers, building out something that people celebrate you and clap. If internally you're not applauding yourself and your inner scoreboard doesn't tell you when you're winning, you'll burn yourself out competing in a game that never ends. Right? So the most important thing in a sporting event, if I ask people what's the most important thing, they would say the players. They would say the coach. They would say the fans. No, it's the clock, because the clock determines the strategy. Right? Because you can make mistakes in the first quarter, you can't make in the fourth. I say that to say, if a person don't have an internal clock that tells me, am I in alignment and on time with what I want? Not a social timeline that says by this time I should be here. What's my own personal timeline? Right? Because like age is not the thing. It's really more so personal growth and development. I wish I was this developed years ago.
Same. Like I feel, as a woman in her 40s, right? Like I feel like
as a woman in her what now? I'm sorry.
40s.
Okay.
Yes, honey. Sis is not a spring chicken, but sis look good. Okay, thank you. But it's like so much growth has happened, like in these last, few years, but definitely, when you get into your 40s, it's just a different level of like awareness. It's a different level of confidence.
Yeah.
It's a different level of just, things that you thought you maybe wanted that that no longer seem to matter. And I find myself asking like, I wish I would have known this 10 years ago. So many years ago.
It changes the game, and I try not to live with the regret and the resentment.
Absolutely.
Mistakes I've made, relationships that should be a part of my life. When people say everything happened for a reason. Well, sometimes we the reason it did or didn't happen.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
I've been the problem.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'll come again and say what?
I said what? I have been the problem.
This is good.
I admit it. Like, but I think that for me, that has come with therapy. That has come to your point earlier about self-honesty. Like, what was your role in this? And how could you have done things differently? I can't be responsible for anyone else, but what could you, Jasmine, have done differently in certain situations? And in some of those, it's like,
I need to voice record this.
Spazzed out maybe a little bit.
This level of Jasmine honesty, I'm just gonna record this and I'm gonna just play it back. I'm loving it.
Don't do me. No, but it's real. But I think that's where therapy honestly has come in. Do you have a therapist?
Yes,
I feel like you were on a journey for a therapist
I was looking
for a little bit.
Man, if you got a recommendation, I'm looking.
But I feel like you've said that before.
I will take whatever your recommendation is.
Not whatever, because the therapist needs to be for your needs.
I prefer a woman.
Okay.
Actually, I would like two. I want a woman and a man. I would like to be able to candidly talk. I want two different people. One that I talk about navigating decision making and the emotional toll of burnout with work. But I want somebody else I can talk about me as a person. So I want a therapist that can navigate me as this function of what I am in purpose and business, and then me as a person. I don't want one person.
Why do you think you haven't found one yet? Have you really been looking?
I am very, like, me, I'm more logical than emotional.
Facts.
Right? So I think the part of me that is very structured and disciplined, that I get aggravated when we 6 weeks, 8 weeks in, we still asking very generic questions. Like, hey, let's get on with it.
I feel like, but knowing you, it's like you trying to have KPIs for a therapist. Like, I'm sorry, ma'am, sir. Hey, what are the key performance indicators of?
To be some real generic things. Like, hey, so tell me how's everything been feeling? So how does that, like, come on, fam, come on, I'm open. Take me, like, I need those epiphanies, the ahas. Like, come on.
But I think the ahas start with you, though. A therapist can help you like navigate it, but I think it really starts with you and being vulnerable.
I am vulnerable.
Okay.
I got to give up control in that area.
So let's shift a little bit and talk about balance.
Woo.
So you have none.
How you gonna just embarrass me in front of company like this?
I'm sorry. I am. I'm acting up in front of the company. I'm sorry. But you don't. And I think you don't, right? Like, I think you're getting better though. Mm-hmm. So I would just love to hear, like, for the people that don't know, again, you are 7-figure entrepreneur, speaker, leader, pastor, father, husband.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, you do several things, right? And so how do you show up as Marcus in each of these roles? And then not even just show up present.
Yeah.
As Marcus in these different roles that
so
you have.
It's not the easiest thing. I've been blessed to own a few different businesses, some which are partnerships, some I own outright. So like I personally run 4 companies, and then we got like partnerships and things of that nature outside of it. When people hear that, I do not believe that multiple businesses, multiple streams of income is a tool to get rich. I think that if you're and this, you end up inherently moving in different directions to express different parts of your personality, your gift, your skill, your ability, right? So how do you manage it? I don't believe in balance. I do believe in rhythm. So what I've discovered is, in order to be rhythm, it's like juggling, right? The goal is you might have 3 things you're juggling, but you're rotating them in a rhythm. You never hold on to one for too long. If you do, you drop them. So the way I function now is Mondays are my coaching days. I only coach on Monday, 10, 12, 2, 6, 7:30.
I'm sorry, what?
10 a.m., 12 o'clock.
Like all...
Yeah, and it's all different programs, right? So 10 a.m. is going to be my CEO program. So it's for CEOs who are trying to manage time, output, KPIs, problem solving, conducting meetings. How do you remove yourself from the day-to-day? What I teach is MVPs. How do you project your most valuable priorities? Communication relay. From your head, how do you get ideas from your head down to the hands of the people who do it, right? That's CEO, 10 a.m. 12 o'clock, that's going to be a little different. That is for people who are in the speaking space, entrepreneur speaker. So that's for people who want to learn how to use speaking to grow their brand, grow their business and bank account, not be a motivational speaker. 2 p.m. is 5-figure months accelerator for people who have an idea in the coaching space and need a launch and sales system to have predictable revenue. 6 p.m. is build your online business for people who want to take whatever their business is to build it out. And then 7:30, it's a mastermind called 5-Figure Months Mastermind for people who are doing monthly launches. They want to learn how to do 6-figure launches, partnerships, et cetera, and trying to go from 6 to 7 figures, right? So it's boom, 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 10, 12, 2, 6, 7:30. So as you can hear, it's a marathon. Yep. But here's my point. Monday, I'm a coach. Tuesday are all of my staff meetings from all my companies. That starts at 10, ends about 1. I'm back to back to back to back. It's also my content day. I'm reading content, writing content, filming content. Wednesday is my wellness day. I check in on me. That's when I do my emotional check-ins. If I'm going to do therapy, it's going to be on Wednesday. If I'm going to do a massage, it's going to be on Wednesday.
Okay.
Date night, it's going to be on Wednesday. Thursday is my CEO day. Call it a think day. So I sit with thought prompts to be able to, and I look over the data. From your finances to projections, all that. Friday is more flexible, right? So you see, it's a rhythm that gives me what I need. Like at the time of this, yesterday was Wednesday. I already mapped out what I'll be teaching on Sunday on Wednesday. And I normally don't create on the same day that I research. So you see, it's a rhythm.
Okay.
To make sure you're not burned out. Now, somebody will say, man, that's over planning. You can't do all that. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Everything in your life needs you. Your family needs you. My father needs me. My mother needs me. My kid needs me. My wife needs me. My clients need me. My staff needs me. My church needs me. And I need me.
Yep.
If you don't assign your ability to be all the things that you are responsible for and that matters to you, and you don't create a schedule and a rhythm for it, you're going to always feel burned out because you don't have structure. Most burnout happens because people have not organized and structured their life in a way for their ideal or perfect week.
How did you create that, right? Like, how did you say, this is how I'm going to structure? So for those that are listening, right, and they're like, I really want to be better with structuring and planning my life because I am multidimensional. I do all of these different things. What would you suggest? How should they get started? Like, do you use like project management tools? Do you just use your notes app in your phone?
Combination of all of it. And I'll tell you some of the apps.
Hey, did you know that I offered a free wardrobe essentials checklist? Yes, this is going to come with all of the free wardrobe essentials you need to elevate and upgrade your wardrobe. All you have to do is check the show notes or click the link and you can download it right now for free.
One of my primary apps, and this has nothing to do with schedule, this is just what I call mental hygiene. Same way you brush your teeth, your brain is dirty, right? So negative patterns and thoughts. So an app called Think Up, where I record my own voice.
Yes, you shared that with
me. Saying my own affirmations. Best possible outcome happens for me in every situation. I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, meeting the right people, saying the right, like it's all these things. Then you look at, how do I feel? How do I want to feel? These are question prompts. I don't talk to nobody before 10 a.m. Why? Because I don't want to. Right? It's like, so I'm up, but I'm only going to talk to me in the morning. That's, how do you feel? How do you want to feel? Yeah. Then you start gauging, what does that look like? Before my coaching, because we've known each other a while, used to be spread out throughout the whole week. Oh, I got to run up. I got to call.
Facts.
And I was like, what would it look like if I put all of my coaching on one day and I'm that for that day, so it gives me room throughout the week to do other things? So you start just looking at it and figuring out, okay, what does that rhythm look like? What day of the week? When do I start getting tired? You gauge yourself and you do, like, you now have control if you're an entrepreneur or if you're, leading your life, that you got to say, I got to show up for all these things and I don't get a chance to give you an excuse and say, I'm tired, I didn't feel like it. What's the rhythm that feels best for me? And you look at that and you say, some people might say they want to visit something more than once. That's fine. But where do I get the model from? I'm going to be honest, man. I plagiarize the Bible and give Jesus credit.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the God model. God had an idea to create a world, and he diversified it over 7 days. There's no difference between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. They all got evening and morning. But here's what he did. Listen to this in creation. Each thing got his undivided attention on a different day. He made man on the 6th day. Why the 6th? Because he chose to. He made the greater and lesser lights on the 4th day. It's that. So when you look at the creational narrative, you look and say, God, who can do anything, who is all-knowing, gave each thing his undivided attention on a specific day. And in 7 days, he completed it. Well, 6, and on 7 day rested. Yeah. That's my rhythm. It's like, what gets my undivided attention on that day?
I love that. So we are seeing you shift into, I won't say it's a new lane, but somewhat of a new lane. Probably a lane you maybe should have been in, because it's just so natural for you. So for those of you watching or listening, if you have never heard Marcus Y. Rosier speak, my God. I'm like, how does his brain even think? Like, I would have never even put that together. Like, he's such an amazing speaker.
Wow.
And we are seeing you now shift into not only just teaching others how to speak, but how to be powerful speakers, how to really use their voice. So I am curious to know how this revelation and epiphany came about, because when I was like, oh, he's shifting. Like, has he not already been doing this? Like, you would think that you've already been doing it. So what was that? Like, what?
Oh, man.
Tell us about that.
I'm going to be honest, man. Like, speaking for me now, I realize it's a natural gift.
Facts.
Yeah, it's a natural gift. And for years, I kept noticing when I would get off of a stage from speaking, that's what people highlight. But I was helping them build businesses, which is also something I'm good at. But I feel like I should have did it a long time ago. Imagine for years, you get off stage and people say, man, that was an amazing speech. And you then tell them, oh, we can build a funnel for you. Oh, we can create a course for you. Hey, we can help you with marketing. Hey, we can do ads. Because I knew how to do all these things, I didn't want people to think I was helping them become a motivational speaker. Mm-hmm. What people miss about speaking, they don't realize the same way that the music industry has genres, speaking does too. So when you hear Jay-Z, you don't think he's a country singer. You know that he's in the genre called rap. Well, speaking has motivation, inspiration, revelation, informational speakers, trainers, you know what I'm saying?
All of it.
So like I started noticing, I don't know how candid I could be on here.
Very.
Part of how I work is I see a problem and things aggravate me. And instead of complaining about it, my goal is to talk about what I'm for instead of what I'm against. Because I think if the whole world, you took ownership of what you're for and you just champion and help people with that instead of complaining about what you're against. I kept saying, I would go to conferences and be like, this is so bad. I don't want to watch you read your slides. Just send them to me and we'll just talk about them. You might well just do a group discussion. Hey guys, did you get a chance to read slide 37? Right? I would see that. I would see people regurgitate other people's stuff and never cite their source. I would see people say, man, I just get up and flow. And it sounds like it. It sounds like your brain's on shuffle. Sounds like you got a mix between Kirk Franklin, gospel tracks, meditation music. I would hear the most random thing, and here's how I think, man. In the same way that the human body chews food and it processes through their digestive system, the human brain receives thoughts and you process it through your belief system. So if you're feeding people thoughts with your words, bro, you are making us sick. You're giving us these random quotes. So watch this. Somebody will say, when you don't pay attention. Well, how do I pay attention? Everyone said statements of what to do, but not how to do it, not how it works. There was no responsibility towards words. So then I started looking and saying, well, man, I will behind the scenes have written TED Talks for people. I've helped people do stage presentations that produce $1 million days for them. So I consult with clients that I'm already doing this behind the scenes. It got to where I was like, okay, it's time. People keep asking, how do you do that? How do you, every time when you speak, we've heard a different speech. How are you memorizing it from scratch? Stage presence, introductions, call and response. How are you blending? Like, how are you talking without ums, uhs, redundancies, pauses? How is it a flow?
I'm a girl.
Right. So there's a science and cadence to all of this. So what made me pivot, and I'm still in business, right? So I'm natural born businessman, where we help people generate leads for their business, create a launch so they have consistent revenue, and a sales process for the non-salesy person. But the speaking piece is saying, if you're an entrepreneur, being bad at speaking is bad for business. Because if you're good at anything, someone's going to invite you on this podcast to talk about it. If you're good at anything, you're going to get invited on a stage or a panel to talk about it. Nobody hears a bad speech and say, what's his name again? I want to work with him. Being bad at speaking is bad for business. You don't realize somebody buy a plane ticket, get in a car, get in a hotel to come to your conference because they love your content online, and they sit there and they hear you and it's a bad experience. They don't know why they don't watch your content anymore, but indirectly it's because you created a bad experience. So it lowers your reach time, lowers your ad costs. Just think about it hurts brand, business, and bank accounts. So I said, why don't I help entrepreneurs learn how to communicate in a better way? It's philanthropic because like, serve them folks. I know what it's like to pay my last dime to go to an event and be disappointed when my heroes were unprepared.
Like, what is you talking about?
Yeah. I know what it's like to come to a conference and hear you say the same thing I heard you say on your YouTube. So I'm like, bro, you didn't prepare for me. So to that end, it's just a concern for people and a concern for the new strategy for the algorithm is actually getting better at speaking.
I'm here for it. Yeah. I love it. I might need to.
You hear my passion.
Look into. You're very passionate about that.
Talking.
I hear it, and I'm here
speaking.
for it.
Oh, I hate it.
You do help. No.
Jasmine, you're hilarious. You are hilarious.
Okay, so last thing. Now, as a stylist, right? You know I'm a stylist. You know I dabble.
I need you.
You know I dabble. You have gone from rocking the Epic Nation tracksuits, okay? Rocking all the Epic Nation tracksuits, right?
Don't do this.
So you have now shifted.
Don't do this.
You have shifted into the designer of everything. Like, hello, Prada.
Don't
outfit.
do this.
And I have questions. About this because I need to understand this transition. Yeah. I need to understand, like literally, it was all branded. That's all you wore was Epic Nation tracksuits. One, kind of what was that shift? Yeah. First question. Secondly, do you feel that up-leveling in that way, right? Because I do think that there is a correlation. So Neil Patel actually spoke about it. So when he was kind of first starting out, and he, if you don't know, like he's the king of SEO and built multi-millions from creating his SEO company. And so when he first was starting out, he would wear just like t-shirts and shorts, right? Wasn't closing as many deals. He started wearing more designer suits, Tom Ford, very luxury. And he realized he closed 60% more.
Wow.
When he wore that, just based on the perception. So do you feel that wearing just designer has made a different perception of you from when you were rocking the Epic Nation tracksuits?
I don't know what the perception is. I would have to flip it. I would have to flip it and turn into the interviewer. with you seeing nothing but my Epic Nation track suits, which the Epic Nation is my online faith and business community, right? So it's an online church. Do you feel like it changed the perception?
I don't know. I can't say. Like, I feel like it's definitely a different version of you,
Gotcha.
right? From when I first met you. It is a different version. I don't think the core or, the core of you has not changed, which I would hope wouldn't, just based on, labels. I think I'm more so wondering, have you seen an increase in your revenue, connections, business opportunities based on how you may now potentially be perceived as a result of how you dress?
Sadly enough, I would say people's perception is that way. Now, I could have afforded it then, right? To buy, whatever that was. Thank God I was blessed to be able to do that. Part of why I did only the tracksuits then, it was creating discipline.
Okay.
Right. So I think I was saying it then. I was rebuilding, restaffing. We hired at that time, thank God I don't have that many people on staff. We had 27 people on staff. Right. So when your payroll is that big, I still got a bigger than I want payroll. I really wanted the discipline to say, can I not buy these things, do this, and invest it all back into the business? Also, I wanted to make sure I wasn't grabbing my self-worth and connection to the brands and that kind of thing. So I did that for like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, where I only wore that. Do I see a difference? Yes, 2 things. Car, like a particular car I purchased, I saw a difference. Like 100% I saw a difference with that. How people respond to that. Or people, man, you must be really getting it. And I'm like, how does spending this kind of money make you believe that I got it? Like, it's a sick thing, but truthfully, yes, I don't know why we attach ourselves to it. Now, I'm always transparent. Some stuff I buy, there are certain things I spend a lot of money on ads and into the business. So if you're leveraging and I'm not a credit guy, some things you ain't got to pay for. You can use points and things of that nature. I'm not saying that everything I've purchased has been that, but I try to attach it to not spending earned income. So I'll use an example. If it is affiliate income, things of that nature, I use that money for clothes. Now, some people, depending on where we're at, could see it as marketing because it does do something different. If this said The Mob or one of my brands, Stretch Free Millions, for some reason, people seeing Prada or Louis Vuitton or Gucci or any of this, it's public perception like he must be this. Mm-hmm. I would hope that I could at some point make the transition and say, without any of those things, listen to the value of my thoughts. But perception is reality. As a stylist, like I'm looking at you. If I see you walk in with this, I don't have to know the name brand of it. I would rather that. Like that's fly.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fly.
And it's not name branded at all.
You see?
But I think that's the power of style. Like it doesn't have to be.
So basically, we're not stylish. We're just overspending. We need you. You said it.
And on that note, so I want to hear more about speaking because I think that's an amazing opportunity for entrepreneurs, professionals, not only from an outlet of monetizing and creating additional streams, but I feel like a lot of people, don't feel that their voice is really heard, especially on social media. Like it's very crowded. So what are 3 things, since you dislike bad speakers, what are 3 things that someone new to the speaking world can do to really just start speaking better, to just learn how to be better speakers? I just said, so how can we not say,
First and foremost, don't place speaking in a category of a title, right? Mm-hmm. Every person, no matter who you are, for the rest of your life, the things that, if you have a idea in your head or desire in your heart, no one can receive it or give it to you if you don't get better with words. So if you're a woman who needs the person that you are in a relationship with to support you better, that does not improve unless you get better with words. Mm-hmm. So we are all speakers. The only thing is, what is the audience we're speaking to? So if you can't take the image in your head or the emotions of your heart and express it through your mouth, you will live your life frustrated. Everything in your life gets better if you get better with words. Whether you're a business owner that needs to explain to a staff how to accomplish a vision you have, your business gets better if you get better with words. If you're a person who's trying to run a podcast, if you are a podcast host and trying to communicate to the people watching what your original vision was for it, everything gets better if you get better with words. So if you place speaking and defer the responsibility of speaking to speakers, you just disassociate it with something as a title that is a skill that we all need, right?
That's good.
So that would be the first thing I'll say. Take full responsibility to say, how do I get better with words? Because if I get better with words, everything in my life gets better. I truly believe that. The second thing I would say to a person, if they're trying to get better with words, clear communication comes from a clear mind, because you don't speak with your mouth, you speak with your mind. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what you're hearing from my mouth is the clarity of my thoughts.
That's good.
So I would say to a person, it is important for you to wrap your head around, what do I want to communicate? What do I want to be said? How do I want to be felt? What do I want to express? Most of the time we struggle to say what we want to say, because while we're thinking, we're also projecting what other people might think. So it stops the clear flow of communication, because you can't edit your thoughts and express your thoughts at the same time. Right? So that's when we find ourselves stumbling over words, feeling uncomfortable. It's like, well, does it make sense? Does this make sense? You gotta increase the volume of your own voice, so when you speak, you hear you. Does that make sense? So when that happens, it flows. You feel comfortable in your own skin. You feel clear in what you're going to say. Now, is there skill in it? Yes. Couple things I just did. Everything in your life gets better if you get better with. Now, if I'm speaking to an audience, they can say words. That's a shareable statement that anchors everything else I layer underneath it. So that will be skill. The third thing I would say to anyone who wants to improve, and what I think is the most essential skill anybody could have with communication, most people don't have enough intake. Meaning, what is your information management system? What are you intaking and digesting? You don't spend your time arguing with strangers about strangers in the shade room comments and get better in communication. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Leave them folks alone.
Yeah. Or just getting all information off social media, right? Like not reading any type of reports, industry insights, news, anything.
I mean, one of the things I did early on, and it could be different because this is my primary skill and something I love. I used to actually watch other people get interviewed or watch news, watch things and say, what would I say if I were asked that? And just allow my mind to explore that. I didn't know what you was going to ask me today, but what makes it flow easily is I'm being honest. Right? That transparency, that honesty, I don't have to study for me being authentic. So like I'll say again, the highest form of self-love is spiritual honesty. Highest form of self-care is self-honesty. When you can create honest narratives with yourself, I don't have to, well, is this right? I'm just being me. My truth is never going to tap me on the shoulder and say, they called us, bro. They called us. No, I'm going to just be honest. Yeah. So I think it's that. Authenticity.
When I say and this, what do you think of, and what part of your life has required you to embrace and this?
When you say and this, the first thought comes to my mind, if all I believe that I am is what I've always been in the past, I can't become my full self. So it's me not giving myself room and permission to evolve. So when I think of and this, I think of a constant evolution. What parts of my life have I had to embrace? I had to embrace the thought that I am more than David and Vernette Rosier's son, because in Panama City, I was that. When I moved to Tallahassee, I was Byron's little brother. When I moved to Atlanta, it was the first time that I got a chance to be Marcus Y. Rosier. I'll say this quickly. My middle initial is Y, but it's a J name. My mother named it because it's Hebrew, and Hebrew doesn't have a J vowel. I never liked that about myself. So when I moved to Atlanta, why I took on that initial Marcus Y. Rosier, it was to fully embrace, finally, I have my own name. No one knew my brother. No one knew my parents. I get to build my own name, right? So it's to embrace whatever that looks like. So what I want to be, person that, number one, do what pleases God, meaning what did he have in mind when he decided that he needed me to be the answer to somebody's problem? What's the thing I'm gifted at and love doing? What helps people? What pays me well? I want to be those four things, and I feel like that's going to always evolve, because every stage and season of my life, I'm going to take on new roles, new responsibilities, and I'm going to feel no type of way with leaving a version that I used to be to become what I can be.
That's interesting. I think of when I think of and this for me, I have done so many things. I've always tied the and of me to like what I have done, right? So I've been a personal stylist. I've been a celebrity stylist. I've been a corporate retail buyer. I've been an entrepreneur. I have been this, and this, and this. But I think as I've grown and matured, it's I am this woman of God. I am this daughter. I am this friend. So it's been more personal for me lately versus things that I've done. And I feel like that's kind of a little bit of what you were saying.
That's dope. I'm a person with words. So I love how you said I've been, you made all that pass. I am, you made that fluid.
Ooh,
yeah,
you noticed I ain't even peep that.
Hey, I do what I can when I can.
I didn't peep that though. That was dope. I feel like I need to ponder.
I mean, it's perception. It shows how you see your evolution. You see that as a part of your journey, but you see it as something you're not anymore. That's why you place past tense around it.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Right. Like I would never be a celebrity stylist again.
Hey, it's a few celebrities in here. You
ain't gonna gotta put that in there just in case. Just in case somebody want to cut the check. Marcus, thank you so much for being here. I feel like this conversation has been one of authenticity, true reflection of, I would say probably both of our
100%.
Journeys, right? Like, y'all, we used to live in the same building. Yeah. So yeah. Years ago, and just seeing your evolution of, the man that you are with so much more that's coming. Super proud of you.
Man, feelings mutual. I'll text you and tell you this all the time. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully you all have enjoyed this episode of And This with Marcus Y. Rosier, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, have you been liking our videos? Have you been tuned in but you have not yet subscribed? Make sure you like, comment, review, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All you have to do is click the subscribe button.